Hey everybody, long time no see. I'm back with another quick video. Just a quick thank you really for the exchange in the group in the GR8 forums. Great example of why these work well. I think it was Lynn from Group 1 who first raised the point about possible causes of the Civil War. Dunstan picked up that question from Group 3 and kind of floated it out there to the Group 3 folks, and eventually I think it was Demetria from Group 3 who made the point that maybe the winners write history, and that depends on your point of view why wars get started. I think you made an interesting connection there with the whole shifting rationale for the war in Iraq in this decade, for instance, Demetria. A lot of responses, I think, and good ones to really the kind of the level of pathos, the level of emotion, really in some of these texts and what they've inspired in some of the students, especially Lakelia's RR8, and I think that's really significant. The fact that you all are all reading these on both a logical and an emotional level. So logos and pathos, and of course ethos, are all working on you in 2010, centuries later. So that's the whole idea. I think it was Lakelia who also asked a question that may end up being an interesting conversation in the GR9s when Lakelia asked if Douglas isn't perhaps being a little sarcastic in his treatment of Christian. Pardon the editing, I think I got cut off just now in talking about Lakelia's post about Douglas's treatment of Christianity in her RR9. I think she mentioned, Lakelia, I think you mentioned 2062, which reads, for it is almost an unpardonable offense to teach slaves to read in this Christian country. And you can almost see the air quotes that Douglas is using there as he refers to Christian. He does that again, of course, in a big way at the end in the appendix, which if you didn't get a chance to look at the appendix in detail, he really lays into really just making a distinction that I think might be worth talking about between the Christianity of Christ, as he puts it, and the Christianity of this land. That's on page 2097, the appendix that starts there, which typical Douglas starts out as an apology for any way that he might have offended people during his narrative about his comments about Christianity. Then he goes on to, in the process of apologizing, lay into it quite a bit more deeply in the appendix. So that's worth looking at. I think that's an area of interest still today, of interest to people who are connected with organized religions as well as people who are not. I think everybody has, whether you're a person of faith within a certain religious community or not, you're concerned about living up to your principles. So that's worth talking about maybe in the GR9. Now, when it comes to the RR10, by the end of the week, by Sunday night, we are finally leaving the issue of slavery behind. But it's been an interesting sort of mini unit here from weeks 7 through 9 of the course. For the final 3 units, we traverse the same period of time, the same stretch, the 1830s, 40s, 50s. But we're going to do it from different angles, a little bit less directly about matters of history, like slavery and women's rights and the causes and the run-up to the Civil War and the sectional disputes that went on during that time period. So it'll feel a little bit less like a history class, a little bit more like a class in fiction, finally getting to some of the writers that you probably figured you'd be studying in this class, Poe, Hawthorne, Melville, Irving. We end with of course Whitman and Dickinson in a final burst of poetry in week 12. Week 10 is a little bit more about Emerson, Thoreau, transcendentalists. What I want you to do is try to read this stuff through the lens of what we've just experienced, though, and remember that often it's taught sort of out of historical context, but you need to remember the fact that these writers are writing during this same time we've just looked at, where these political debates are raging. So you need to look at maybe what's underneath some of the more philosophical, fictional, poetic art. Sorry, cut off again. They only give me 90 seconds per take on this this webcam. So look underneath the philosophical, poetic, fictional, artistic discourse that these writers are using for the rest of the course, and try to bring that to bear on your RRs and GRs the rest of the way. I'll talk to you soon.